Welcome everyone. Today I want to walk you through this new blog post which I recently wrote, which its name is DAX and UDF SVG charts in Power BI, the complete guide. So the first thing that we are going to do is that we are going to copy this data table and we are going to create this DAX data table into Power BI. So now let me open Power BI desktop. This will be a completely new blank report as you see in here, and I will go to the modeling tab. And in the modeling tab, I will create a new table, which will be a sample sales data table. And I will click on enter, making our table. Let's take a look at this table. How does it look? So basically we have a column for year month. We have one column for sales, cost, and profit. Now let's go back to our blog post. And in here we need to copy some measures. Let me copy all these measures. And now, if you don't know this, there is within Windows a very nice trick, which is Windows V, and this will help us pasting the different things that we just copy. So this is like a clipboard with history. So I will create a new measure. Let me just paste the first one, which will be the total sales. I will click on enter. Now I will right click on the table. I will create a new measure. And this will be the total costs. Once more, I will right click on the table. I will create a new measure. This will be the total profit. And the last one, once more, right click, new measure, and this will be the profit margin. Now we have created our measures. As always, it is a good practice that we have this ordered. Usually it is a measures table, or I like to have this in a measures table, but I will only create this. This will be a fairly small model. I will create this just in a folder which is called measures, instead of creating a full measure table. So now we have our measures, profit margin, total cost, total profit, and total sales. Now let's go back to our post. So in here, the next thing, it asks us to create a table visual and add all these different data. So we are going to add the year month. And we see that we have in here correctly all of the data within the table. I can remove the year month and we can see that the data is there and it's correct. Nice. Let's move to the next step on the blog post. We need to explore the data structure. So basically in here, what we are going to do is that we are going to use the DAX query view to explore and to create a table that will help us to develop the SVG. You will see it in the future how this will be helpful, but in the meantime, let's go and copy the code. Now head to our DAX query view where we are going to paste this code. And basically in here we have an evaluate function which returns the columns of the table which is called non-blank and adds a new column which is called the high-low flag. And orders this by year month. Let's just run and see how our table looks like. There says that the syntax is incorrect. Okay, I don't know why it was incorrect. I just run it again, and we have in here our table. So now let's take a look at our table. So basically in here, what we have is that we have the value of total sales, and it is sorted. We have every row the month, and we have a high-low flag. And basically this flag will allow us to identify which is the lowest point of this table and the highest point in this table. So in this case, we have that is for something low. If it is the opposite, you should change it in your DAX because there might be cases where something low is good, so and something high is bad. So this is something that you might need to change here on in this line of your DAX code. But we saw the table that this generates. Let's go back to the blog post and create the complete measure. I will not go through all the explanation of this measure because this one you can actually find it here on the section understanding DAX, and so you find all the technical things. So basically what it does is that it calculates a bunch of things and creates an SVG chart. Let's copy this one, head back to Power BI. I will go back to the report view, and in the report view I will create a new measure. If you remember that if you right click directly on the folder, it will create the measure directly on the folder. Now I will paste it. And I am pasting the measure from the blog post. Now, this measure can be used directly on an HTML visual. Let me just plug it in. And as you see, what we have in here is our SVG of the total sales for the total sales tables, where we have highlighted the highest and the lowest point. The next thing that we are going to do is that we saw that it is actually working, and it's working fine. It's displaying this chart, and we are going to create a UDF. Once more, we have in here the full code of the UDF, and in this case, I will go to the DAX view, and in the DAX view, I will paste my user-defined function. Something that I want to highlight in here, and if you don't understand a lot more the user-defined functions, I would recommend you to watch the previous video that I recorded about UDFs. And basically in here, what we are doing within the measure is that we are defining the parameters of the function. Okay, and in this case, what we are going to request is a measure, any measure. So in the case that I showed you earlier, we use total sales, but we don't want this to be fixed. We actually want to use any measure within our for our UDF, right? Total sales, cost, profit margin, or whatever, right? What is the category column? So basically, this would be the axis that we are going to sort our elements. So what will be the category? The category will be ascending or descending. And then what is the good nature? So basically in here, we are going to create this UDF with these 4 parameters. So now I have pasted the code for the UDF, and I will update model with changes. I will click on update model, and now we will see the function that we have in here, which is name is generate SVG bar chart. Let's go back to the report view, and let's go back to our blog post. The first thing that we are going to do is that now we are going to use the UDFs. So in this case, what we are doing is that we are using our UDF, which is called generate SVG chart, and we are passing the 4 different parameters, right? So remember, the first one was what is the measure that we are going to use. The second one is what is the category. In this case, is year month, because that's how we want our charts, our bar chart to be categorized. We want this on an ascending order, and we want this 1. Basically, 1 is high is good. If you write 2, then low is good. Okay, so basically that's the difference on this UDF. Let's go and create these additional measures. So once more, I will copy the 3 of them. I will go back to Power BI, and in Power BI, I will create the new UDFs. This will be a new measure, and the new measure will be my sales strength chart. Then I will create a second new measure, which will be my cost strength chart. And my last measure will be my profit margin chart. I have created my charts. Let me just give this a little bit more of order. So in this case, I will add it in the focal measures, but I will add a backward slash, and in this case, this will be UDFs. Remember that you can order in subfolders by using this backward slash within your display folder parameter of the measures. So now we have our measures, and inside our measures, we have our UDFs. I will go back to the report. We are using the parameter, we're using our UDF, which is called generate SVG chart, and we are using it for total cost, for profit margin, and for total sales. Now it's time to use this within a chart, or in this case within a visual, and this will be the new card visual. So I will select the new card visual. We are going to start with the sales. So what I will add in here, it will be sales. Let's see what our blog post actually says. So basically it says like we need to create each measure. We have done it. We will have to add the new charts. We will need to add the 3 different measures that we created, and then we need to add the images, the UDFs as image. So let's go back into our report view, and I have added total sales. Then I will add total profit, total cost, and total profit. Let's add the profit margin because that's a profit margin chart that we have. Now, the next thing that we are going to do is that we are going to go to the format pane, and we are going to turn on the images. In the images, in this case, we are going to do total sales. We are going to add the image. And in this case, we are going to select a URL, and the URL will be from the sales trend chart. And I will click on OK. And now you see we have our first chart for total sales. Now the second will be total costs. We do the same. We turn on the image. We do this from the URL. We select the URL for the image, which will be the UDF DAX. And this one was total costs. So we are going to add the cost trend chart. I will click on OK. And the last one was for profit margin. I will turn on the image, change it to URL, and this one will be the profit margin chart. Profit margin chart. And I will click on OK. And like that, we have created the SVGs within our chart. Now, of course, there is now some work that we need to do in order to make these charts look good. We need to format the chart, probably change if the image is above or below, what is the size of the values, and so on. But like that, you saw how it was relatively easy to create first the user-defined function for the charts, and secondly, use this UDF with different measures in the new card visual to display these SVG charts, which show us the highest and the lowest point. I hope this video was useful for you. Please let me know your comments, and also do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much.